We'll start by bringing our attention to our posture, making sure that we're situated in a comfortable, stable, upright position. So thinking about keeping our feet flat on the floor and our back slightly away from the backrest, upright. Our hands are in our lap, the palms upturned, and the thumbs gently touching or resting on the knees. We scan through the physical body and try to relax away any places of unnecessary tension, keeping the mind alert but the body relaxed. And try to consciously pull your awareness away from anything that's happening in the environment, disengaging from sights or sounds or other distractions. Trying to hold your awareness just inside the body and mind. You can start to use the physical sensation of the breath as it passes into and back out of the tip of the nostrils as a way of anchoring your awareness in the present, trying to keep it from going to even thoughts of the past or plans for the future. Attempting to notice as quickly as possible when the mind has moved from that physical sensation to any other object. And then just gently, without judgment or frustration, lifting your awareness up from that distraction and gently again placing it on the breath. Repeating that process over and over, understanding that that process itself is the mechanism by which we develop the ability to concentrate the mind on a chosen object. And try to connect with a broad, virtuous motivation, seeing the purpose of your time as not being for yourself alone, but being also for the benefit of other sentient beings. that when we develop our own qualities, we benefit others, wanting to do that in order to be able to benefit others more and more effectively. Then today we'll explore impermanence and its implications for our lives. So we'll do that first by looking imaginatively at the physical body. So when we say impermanence, what we mean is that things that exist in a compounded way, things that have come together through the accumulation of causes and conditions, that they change moment by moment by moment, continuously, ceaselessly. So we can look at the physical body in our mind's eye, in our imagination. We can look at first all of the different systems of the body. We can begin with respiration. So on the next inhalation, we can track that process down into the lungs. And then how the oxygen diffuses into the bloodstream. And how carbon dioxide is diffused back out. And that can bring us to thinking about the circulatory system, how that oxygen is transported to every cell in the body. Just take a moment to try to visualize that process. Then we can think about the digestive process, how what we eat and drink is similarly transported, broken down and transported throughout the cells of the body. Tissues, muscle tissue, fatty tissue increases and decreases over time in dependence upon that process. We can think about the muscular and skeletal systems supporting the body now in meditation, allowing the body to work. And we can think about the central and peripheral, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, and the hormonal systems, and all of the various organs. Trying to get a sense and appreciation of the extraordinary complexity of the body. You can think about all of those systems on a cellular and subcellular level. Cells are coming into existence, dying, there's no two moments of the physical body that are the same. It's been that way since we were in the womb. It'll continue that way till the moment that the body ceases. But even after the mind separates from the body's continuum will still change. So try to think along these lines and recognize that this body that we think of as so monolithic is actually changing moment by moment by moment. Move your attention from the body to the mind, and just for a moment observe the flow of mental events in the mind without directing or stopping. Just notice the river of mental events in the mind. Try to recollect the thoughts that started when you woke up this morning, the decisions, the plans, the intentions, just from that moment to this moment. And try to see how it's impossible to keep track of every single movement of the mind, even over that short period of time. Try to think back over the past several months, years. See how things that we used to think were important have become less important. Other things that we used to not think were important have become more important. How we make decisions and plans and priorities, they've all shifted over time. Because the mind is always learning, always changing, always being molded by our actions and our thoughts. So again, this thing that we think of as stable and monolithic is constantly in flux. Try to analyze in that way and develop an insight in your own direct experience, but how the mind is never the same in any two moments. And then recognize that this momentary change that characterizes my body and mind also characterizes everything in the world that I'm able to interact with. All inanimate objects, other people, everything that we can see and taste and touch and hear, smell, everything is in that nature of momentary change. So bring to mind some object that you feel somewhat attached to, some sort of prized possession, or something that you've been maybe thinking about getting. And try to understand that its nature too is momentary change. That every time you look at it, look away, look back, in an imperceptible way, it's different. Over long periods of time, it will change in ways that are observable, but that process depends upon imperceptible, moment by moment changes. So try to apply this insight to this object and see if that helps you to relate to it, perhaps more realistically, understanding its nature. If you feel a sense of perhaps more balance, and try to hold your mind in that sense of greater realism, greater balance. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. So then we'll dedicate. So again, recollect your motivation, then recollect the effort that you made to actualize that motivation. And just think whatever positive energy I may have created, may that ripen as a cause for my eventual enlightenment, in order that I may be able to work perfectly for the benefit of others. And may it ripen in whatever way sentient beings need to be free of suffering, to have happiness. May it serve as a cause and a condition for all of my spiritual guides to abide, to guide and protect sentient beings in lifetimes without limit and without obstacle. Just having a sense of completely letting go and offering your practice. Thank you.